Now, having discussed this production function, now let us move further and study the employment. And firstly, we'll discuss how the firms actually demand labor. We know the perfectly competitive firm, in order to maximize profit, will increase its output until the marginal cost of producing a unit of output is equal to the marginal revenue received from its sale. Everyone know that profit is total revenue minus total cost. And what is this total revenue? It is the product price multiplied by the output, and total cost is nominal wage multiplied by the labor input. Now, using these two, total revenue and total cost, in the profit function, we get this. Now we also know that y is a function of L, so we can use this fact in this profit function. Now, differentiating our profit with respect to labor input, what we get is P into F dash L minus W. Now, what is this P into F dash L? We know that F dash L is the marginal product of labor. So, whole of this P into F dash L is the marginal revenue. And what is this W? This is our marginal cost. Now, putting this marginal revenue minus marginal cost equal to 0, what we get is P into MPL equals to W, or rewriting it, we get MPL equals to W by P. So the firms will hire additional labor up to that point at which the W by P, that is the real wage, is equal to the marginal productivity of labor. Uh, as long as W by P equals to MPL, it is profitable for the firm to hire additional labor. Now let us plot this labor demand schedule with labor on the horizontal axis and real wage on the vertical axis, and ultimately we get a downward sloping labor demand schedule. We'll notice that this is same as the marginal productivity of labor schedule that we drew in the previous slide. And now my question is, how did we get this downward sloping demand curve? The answer is, we know that as the real wage increase, the firms don't hire additional labor, because it is not profitable for the firm to hire labor, because as long as W by P is greater than MPL, the firm will demand less labor, and as long as W by P is less than MPL, it is profitable to hire more labor. So we ultimately get this downward sloping demand schedule. So what we infer from this is that labor demand is a function of real wage, and it is negatively related to it. As the real wage is increasing, my labor demand will fall, and as real wage is falling, my labor demand will actually increase. Now let us study how the individual workers supply labor in the economy. The supply of labor actually depends upon their preferences between leisure and consumption. Consider, for example, that one individual, he allocates his 24-hour period between leisure and working. So let us take the hours leisure, maximum of course 24 on the horizontal axis, and take real income on the vertical axis. This real income is the real wage multiplied by the total number of hours that he's working. Suppose the total number of hours is 24, and the number of hours that he's actually working is 24 minus number of hours of leisure that he choose. Now, if you're given this budget line and this indifference curve, then the tangency of the budget line with this indifference curve gives the combination of leisure and income that the individual choose, and that gives equal satisfaction to him. Now, my question is, what does the slope of this indifference curve mean? It gives the rate at which individual is willing to trade off leisure for income. This means the cost of choosing each hour of leisure is the real income that is foregone. Now, if my real wage is increasing, then I'll supply more labor and will consume less leisure. This is here what we mean by substitution effect dominates income effect. Now, what is this substitution effect and what is this income effect? Substitution effect means that if my real wage has increased, then I'll substitute my leisure for work. That is, I'll work more and consume less leisure. But according to the income effect, if my real wage has gone up, that means my income has increased. So now it is the time to enjoy more leisure. So as long as the substitution effect is greater than the income effect, I'll supply more labor given my real wage. So if my real wage is increasing, my labor will be increasing. So given these theories, let us draw the labor supply curve. As well, substitute these A, B, C points in this labor schedule, labor supply schedule. We'll get this upward sloping labor supply curve. That means that as my real wage increase, my labor supply will also increase given substitution effect dominates income effect. So now what we understand is that labor supply is a function of real wage and it is positively related to it. As we started in the labor demand, that firms will demand labor as long as real wage is less than the marginal product of labor. That means labor demand is negatively related to the real wage, but in labor supply, the individual workers will supply labor as long as they're getting higher real wage. So our labor supply is positively related with the real wage. Now, in the next video, we'll discuss the equilibrium given the labor demand and the labor supply schedule, and we'll proceed further. Thank you.